Righto, Carpe, it's only me, Dappers. After the Bjorg oil fill method, I had a little problem with that the other day. I put loads of pressure on the fork, and instead of the fork seal popping out, it just went and peed up fork oil out, but didn't loosen the seal at all. And once you've lost the pressure, that game's pretty much gone. So I needed to find another way. I also wanted to be able to dismantle forks, which I know have good bushes in them, and reuse the bushes because they're very expensive to buy. So I came up with the following method. I'll try and go through it. Photos hopefully will go on Carpe, and this is a vid for PooTube possibly. So here we go. So first thing you need to do is dismantle the fork, either following instructions in the old Heinz manual or asking on Carpe or whatever. First thing to do, remove the dust cover. So gently pry that old badger out, get that out of the way. Then it's the old trick like we did before on the Bjorg method, remove that little clippy whippy in. Then we want to get a big socket or spanner on the nut and take the top off. Yeah, badgers. There we go, so that's the top off. Now we need to just drain as much oil as we can out. Well, actually I say as much oil as you can, but make sure you leave some to drip on the garage floor, on your shoes, on the workbench. Pretty horrible stuff, fork oil. Right, now we need to remove this top section so we can get the spring off and the damper rod out. This is a 14mm nut. I like to use a brake pipe spanner on there because it fits lovely. And now we're working on that top nut, which is about 17mm probably. So hold the 14mm steady here. Best to put a socket on the top and undo this top nut. Yeah, let's crack on. So that's the top off. Now the spacer and damper rod and spring can all come out, and then we can have a go at removing the guts of the fork. Right, next thing we have to do is we have to remove the damper rod from the fork tube. So we do that by removing a little Allen bolt that's in there somewhere. Probably can't see it, but it's in there somewhere. That's 7mm. I thought I've got a little socket set, so I put a 10mm socket on the end of the 7mm Allen kit. It fits in there nicely. Some people say you have to hold the damper to stop it from turning, but I normally find that's only on trying to do the beggar up on the Mark 1s. I don't know about the other models, but for Mark 1s that's normally the case. Well, I find that anyway. Okay, and there's the bolt out. There is a washer that's normally on that. It's actually still in the fork. I'm not worried about that. I'll just leave it there and check that it's still there when I put the bolt back in. This is also an excellent chance to dribble some more pickled onion water on your toes. Righto, so now we have everything out of the fork. The damper rod's gone, the spring's gone, all the gubbins is gone, the bolt's undone. Always make sure you've taken the clip out, because otherwise that could be a very big pain in the bum. Here's the pulley. Basically I've taken a the top bolt, which is this section, and removed the centre, which is the preload adjuster, this section. So I've taken this section out. You do that by just putting preferably a socket on that 17mm bolt and screwing it out the top. Easy peasy. Leaves you with this, which I've then put a tough grade suspension bolt through, which is going to act as my puller. So you need a washer on the inside, which the bolt can then pull against without damaging your top bolt. You could actually put a bush of some kind through there just to guide it, but I find when it's nicely centred on the board that pulls centrally anyway, so it's not an issue. The next thing we need to do is to screw this into the top of the okay, so now we've just put our special adapted top bolt in. This is loose to pull through here and it will centre nicely. So all we need to do now is attach it to our pulling jig type plank. Righto, so here we have our pulling device, which basically consists of a hole drilled through a plank of wood with another suspension bolt. I've also put a little collar on this to support it while it's pulling, so it doesn't damage the wheel spindle hole in the fork. So I'm going to attach that on there and running up. Then after fully extending the fork so it won't extend any further, I've got this little box section with 2 holes drilled through and good grade bolts going through that. These are basically just spacers so that I know that when it pulls it's going to pull the fork level. The bolt that I've got in my top bolt on my fork is going to come through there and is going to bolt on this side with loads of washers in place, and then when I do up the bolt it's going to pull the fork that way and hopefully save the Teflon bushes. So on this end I've got a washer to protect my fork leg, and also on the inside in the spindle hole I've got a sleeve to also protect that from getting damaged while I'm doing this. You don't need this bolt to be tight because you want it to float so that you're pulling level, so that's that end sorted really. You might want to grind a couple of flats on this bolt shaft here just to hold it so that when you do the nut up this doesn't spin on the inside, but I find it's fine. I just use a pair of grips to grab it, and as soon as it gets relatively tight it stops spinning anyway. Okay, so all I've done is put that through this section, and a washer there, nut there. I'm going to do it up as far as I can. I might need to add washers or change the position of the fork leg, but I should now have a nice level pull. I've got to mention it's also worth, or might not be worth, but I do it anyway, is just spray a little bit of monkey piss around the fork seal. Just might help it slip out, might not. WD-40 do the same job. Badgers. Right, now I've taken the slack out, I've just added another couple of washers. It gives me more of a run on the thread until I run out of thread. Nothing's moved yet, but it hopefully soon will. So as you can see here, definite movement of that seal now, because you can no longer see the place where the metal clip goes. So it's probably moved 3 or 4 mil so far. Yeah, yeah. Badgers. Rightio, we're off the rack now. See if I can film the moment where a Teflon bush either survives or doesn't. Rah! Look at that, brilliant. Not a scratch. Job's a carrot. Job's a carrot. Job's a carrot. Job's a carrot.